The Black Dahlia Murder. The Black Dahlia refers to the unsolved murder of Elizabeth Short in 1947. She was a young woman who was found brutally murdered in Los Angeles. Her body was discovered severed in half and mutilated, with her mouth cut into a sinister smile. The case received a lot of attention from the media and became one of the most notorious unsolved murders in American history. Elizabeth Short was given the nickname Black Dahlia due to her preference for wearing black clothing and her resemblance to the dark and mysterious dahlia flower. The case has fascinated people for decades, and there have been many theories and speculations about who might have been responsible for her death. Now, before we start today's video, subscribe to our channel and like this video. Here we go. The 15th of January, 1947, around 10 o'clock in the city of Los Angeles, Betty Bersinger, a housewife, was strolling down Norton Avenue when she came across something unsettling in a vacant lot on the street. Bersinger stated that when she initially saw the body, she thought it was a mannequin since the body was so white. After that, she realized that it was not a real person. However, when she became aware that what she was truly observing was a severed body, she hurried to get in touch with the authorities. Elizabeth Short, who was known after her death as the Black Dahlia, was the person whose body Bersinger discovered. She had chunks of her flesh removed from her body, and her body was chopped in half at the waist. Her body was also divided in two diagonally. In addition, despite the fact that she had been extensively dismembered, there was no blood anywhere on her body, which strongly suggests that the body had been meticulously cleaned before being placed at that location on Norton Avenue. The Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD, recognized Elizabeth Short based on her fingerprints, and on January 16, 1947, Short's body underwent an autopsy. A brain hemorrhage and shock were the stated causes of death for the woman, and the marks that were found on her body revealed that she had been chained and tortured earlier. After then, the police sent a message around the community with the goal of obtaining additional information on the victim. It was eventually discovered that Elizabeth Short had relocated to Los Angeles in July of 1946. This was one of the things that was discovered. During the time when she was having trouble finding acting jobs in Hollywood, she worked as a waitress and resided in a room that she rented behind the Florentine Gardens nightclub, which was located on Hollywood Boulevard. Because of her strikingly dyed black hair and the black clothing she wore, journalists began referring to Short as the Black Dahlia as soon as the word about her death began to circulate. This was primarily due to the fact that she wore black attire. For a number of weeks, the story of the Black Dahlia was featured in the news. On January 24, 1947, a manila envelope that purported to be addressed to the Los Angeles Examiner and other Los Angeles papers was found to display suspicious characteristics. There was a message inside the envelope that was made up of words that were taken out of newspaper clippings. The letter read, "Here are Dahlia's belongings: a birth certificate, business cards, photographs, names scrawled on bits of paper, and an address book were all contained within the envelope that contained Short's personal information." In a manner that was analogous to the manner in which Short's body had been washed, the contents of the envelope had additionally been scrubbed with gasoline. As a result, the police reasoned that Short's murderer must have written the letter. Approximately 75 people from Short's address book were contacted by the police, although the majority of those men stated that they had only known Short for a short period of time. Because of the precise cuts that were found on Short's body, the authorities reasoned that someone working in the medical sector might have been the person responsible for his death. As a result, the police served a warrant on the USC Medical School, which was situated in close proximity to the location where Short's body was discovered. However, despite conducting a number of interviews and conducting background checks, they were still one step away from solving this case. Despite the fact that the investigation was conducted without success, people's interest in the story has not diminished. The unsolved murder of Elizabeth Short has served as inspiration for numerous books and films, both fiction and nonfiction. The Black Dahlia, A novel published in 2008 that fictionalizes the specifics of this fascinating story is now widely considered to be the most famous account of the murder of Elizabeth Short. The novel is so meticulously researched and so vividly drawn that many readers have stated that they had to remind themselves that it was fiction and not a genuine crime during their reading experience. Within the pages of this book, author James Elroy describes the specifics of the investigation into the Black Dahlia and speculates on the various ways in which the crime could have been solved. The novel written by Elroy was converted into a film noir in 2006, with Mia Kirshner playing the role of Elizabeth Short. Brian De Palma was the film's director. Despite the fact that the Black Dahlia case has not yet been solved, there are numerous hypotheses regarding the individuals who might have been responsible for this crime. There have been a significant number of individuals who have come forward to admit that they committed the crime. However, the majority of these confessions have been shown to be fraudulent. A number of authors who specialize in crime have established a connection between the murder of the Black Dahlia and the Cleveland torso murders, which occurred between the years 1934 and 1938. Additionally, the homicide of Jean French, which took place in Los Angeles on February 10, 1947, has been brought up as a potential connection to the homicide of Short. At the time of the inquiry, Leslie Short was thought to be the primary suspect, but because of clerical errors, he was never brought to trial for the crime. Some theorists have come to the conclusion that the murder of the Black Dahlia was never solved due to a cover-up by the police. This is in addition to other pieces of information on the case. Steve Hodel, a veteran police detective who retired from the Los Angeles Police Department, wrote a true crime novel titled Black Dahlia Murder, a genius for murder, and released it after his retirement. Hodel gives his own theory and lays forth a great deal of information regarding the research in this document. He is under the impression that his own father, Dr. George Hodel, was the one who murdered the Black Dahlia. In spite of the fact that there are a great number of hypotheses concerning what actually occurred to Elizabeth Short, the case has not been solved. It is still a fascinating true crime narrative that has been the impetus for a great number of mystery novels and film noir films in the years that have passed since it was written. The Black Dahlia murder is one of the most famous unsolved murder cases in the world. The gruesome nature of the crime helped bolster its infamy. Over the years, new evidence has been found, but many still believe that it is a murder that will never be solved. Would you like it? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channels for more interesting and informative videos.